Happy Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday. Welcome to the podcast, Words Unspoken. It's your girl Alicia C. And we out here recording remote live. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Hope it was fun, safe, and peaceful. Sheesh, it's the 1st of December. This is our last month of 2021. Jesus. Make it a good one, guys. We don't know what this new year has in store for any of us, but it's definitely a lot of changes coming our way. A lot of bullshit, too. Nevertheless, today's episode is a spin-off of a previous episode entitled Change. We'll call this Tips for Change. I think we can all agree that change is a very difficult task, plain and simple. It requires discipline and perseverance. I decided to come up with some easier ways to kind of ease yourself into this difficult process. The most important rule is to become more self-reflective, and that's something that people kind of struggle with, reflecting back on themselves, how they think, and their behaviors. So here are some ways to incorporate change in your weekly routine. So for the first tip, you can do this for 5 days. Give yourself the weekend off just to reflect. For 5 days straight, give yourself the time to reflect on something that stood out during your day. So try this. Each night as you wind down in bed, take a few minutes to reflect on your day from start to end and highlight the one thing that stood out. We all have a notepad on our phones. People are glued to their phones. I feel like the time you take to scroll on TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is people do, you could pull up your notepad and jot down something about yourself. Hey, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Nevertheless, each day document something that stood out. So Monday through Friday, you don't have to write a whole paragraph, you know what I'm saying? Choose one thing that stood out. So as you lie down, you relax, you think about how your day went from start to end, from the moment you woke up. Some things you'll remember, some things you probably don't, but as best as you can, highlight what stood out about your day. I'll give you some examples. Maybe you came across a really, really polite cashier, and normally people aren't that nice. And maybe that the politeness brightened your day or put a smile on your face. That stood out about maybe Monday. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Tuesday, you were short some change and somebody was aware of it and offered to give you the remainder change you need or pay for your lunch. Things that stand out. And, it could be anything, good or bad. Just document what stood out about your day. Oh, my day is just the same thing. I go to work, I do this or that. Something had to be different or kind of caught you, whether it was in a positive or negative way. Jot that down. Whatever stands out. And I feel like I got to keep emphasizing that because some people sit there and start overthinking it. Simply, if nothing really stood out about your day and it was your typical day, then you can just put nothing in particular. That's fine. Don't sit there and try to, knife and fork the situation or the day. It's not that serious. Whatever stood out. Maybe you went to work and after leaving work, you stopped at a supermarket you don't normally stop at and ran into an old classmate, co-worker, a family member, like anything that stood out. Jot it down. Monday through Friday. It could be a word, one thing, whatever. Keep it short. Then allow yourself the weekend to reflect on the things that you wrote down for that week. And when you do that, it forces you to look at what you wrote. Are there any similarities within your days? Anything stood out in particular? Like I said, maybe you'll realize more about yourself. Maybe you realize you do the same thing. Maybe that's an issue. You're stagnant. I notice I do the same thing every day. Okay, why don't you change it up? Change. You heard that? Change it up. There's that word again, change. It's for you to recognize these things and obviously change it if necessary. Here's another fun exercise. Look at your day, look at your week. Point out one thing that you find yourself doing every day. And I feel like this kind of coincides with what I just previously stated, highlighting the things that you do as a norm is almost second nature. Like if you don't do this thing, you feel disorientated, or so you think so. Point out one thing you find yourself doing every day and try doing the opposite of that. What do you mean? Here's some examples. If you're somebody who drinks coffee every day, and I know some people who drink coffee every day. So if you drink coffee every day and you feel like, oh, I just cannot possibly start my day without a cup of coffee, are you crazy? Well, hey, maybe I am. Ha. Maybe you're crazy. Try going a day without coffee. I mean, hey, self-discipline. You know what I'm saying? You got to think, well, hey, what happens? Look at the weather that's going on in Brazil and all these places that produce coffee, and then they start getting snow. Ding, 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 ding. That's not supposed to happen. Hypothetically speaking, we're not able to access coffee. No more coffee for you. No more coffees for you. Then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh, okay. And no, that doesn't mean you should find something else to be codependent on. That means you need to have some discipline and don't make yourself dependent on anything. If you drink coffee every day, skip one day. It ain't going to kill you. Skip one day. See how you act. Your energy change, your attitude. Are you snappy? Did you get work done? Did you focus? Can you see clearly? Did you eat more? Did you eat less? Did you get more done? Self-reflection. What are we doing? How are the things that we do, consume, think? How does that affect us overall? What can we do to implement this change? Some people, they're not in agreement with utilizing therapists and, psychiatrists. What's the other one? Jesus. I feel like it's right at the tip of my tongue. Psychologists, yes. People don't believe in utilizing these professionals. So find your way. At least be willing to sit down and point out, and forget pointing out. Why don't you learn more about yourself?